Coming up on News 8 now, Onalaska authorities are investigating after human remains were found off of Highway 53. They're trying to determine if it's the body of a man reported missing last fall. Right now at 10, how a local priest is defying the advice of health experts. And President Biden is nearing his 100th day in office. Is he gaining Americans' approval? Plus, your kids won't have to be stuck at home this summer. A look at the safety guidance and upcoming activities for them to take part in.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 10.
Good evening and thanks so much for joining us tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm Mike Thompson. Martha Koloski is off tonight. An investigation continues tonight after human remains were found off of Highway 53 yesterday morning. Police say that there is no danger to the public and they are working closely with one family to determine if it's their missing relative. News 8 Now's Kate Overton fills us in on the next steps.
Just before 10 o'clock Sunday morning, Onalaska officers made their way to the area of Highway 53 and Sand Lake Road for what was said to be a suspicious object.
That's freeway to Muncie.
When officers arrived, they found what was confirmed to be human remains with very little evidence around it.
So it was partially decomposed, so some portions were bones and there was still some remains there.
Now the remains are at the La Crosse Medical Examiner's office where they hope to find out more.
We are just working now with the medical doctors to look for, any possible signs of the cause of death, if there was any foul play involved or not, just what those types of investigations can reveal.
Chief Ashbeck said the next step is for the detectives to get the autopsy results to find out more, but that could take weeks or even months.
And when I say quicker, a few weeks, if they have to send bone structures off, dental records, other items like that, it can go into the months.
Even though there isn't a lot of evidence to work with and the autopsy may take some time, that isn't going to stop the Onalaska Police Department from trying.
We want to be able to bring closure to, potential family members, relatives, friends that, may have been missing this loved one.
Chief Ashbeck also mentioned he has already begun to look into missing persons to see if anything might line up. Reporting from Onalaska, Kate Overton, News 8 Now.
So, Onalaska police are working closely with Tyler Henry's family to try to determine if this is him. He is a 36-year-old man who went missing last fall. Tyler was last seen on September 2nd in the area of Sand Lake Road and Wells Street in Onalaska. But again, police want to stress a positive identification has not been made at this time.
Well, your exact location is always key when it comes to weather, but days like today, it really was a key. Look at the difference in temperatures. 54 the high in Eau Claire, 48 up in Wausau. In fact, northern Wisconsin woke up to an inch or two of snow, believe it or not, this morning. 64 was the high here in La Crosse, same with Viroqua, and then 78 in Boscobel, 80 degrees in Mason City. Yeah, we've got a warm front sitting west to east across the region, just to the south of Interstate 90 and La Crosse. It did fire some showers and thunderstorms to our north this afternoon and early this evening. Those have pushed out. 46 in Eau Claire, still 56 here in La Crosse, and 62 down in Prairie du Chien. So again, those cooler temps to the north, milder to the south. There's still a small chance for a shower or storm in spots overnight. It's a small chance, 20% or less. Lows in La Crosse around 53. Those rain chances do increase a bit for tomorrow. I'll have the details coming up.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Bill. A priest in La Crosse is ignoring COVID-19 gathering restrictions at his masses and is warning people that vaccines are useless, despite the advice of health experts. A YouTube video shows Reverend James Altman presiding over crowded Easter services at St. James the Less Catholic Church. Many in the congregation were not wearing masks. The Diocese of La Crosse says it is working privately on issues with Father Altman. The La Crosse County Health Department says they are aware of a large event that occurred at a local congregation. They recommend, quote, following the guidance for in-person religious events, weddings, funerals, and any other similar celebrations that was established by the Cooley COVID Collaborative. Wear a mask at all times, stay 6 feet apart, and ensure proper ventilation in all communal spaces, end quote. Doctors at Gunderson Health System in La Crosse say some patients are skipping their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Updated recommendations from the CDC say you should get your second dose within 6 weeks of receiving your first dose. Health experts say getting the second dose will help keep community members safe.
There was just another study released that said the protective response is a bit unpredictable if you only get one dose. So it's actually really important to get that second dose.
Dr. Nike says Gunderson is working with community partners to improve vaccine accessibility to ensure that people can get a full vaccine series as easily as possible. Gunderson Health System will begin administering a limited supply, of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine again next week. Federal health officials lifted a 10-day pause on the J&J vaccine Friday after investigating about a dozen reports of rare blood clots. The vaccine will now include extra labeling. Gunderson's vaccine expert says it's important to keep the numbers in perspective, though. There's been more than 8 million doses of the vaccine successfully administered without any reported problems. Mayo Clinic Health System says it's taking the time required to thoughtfully plan a process and education for patients before resuming distribution of the J&J vaccine. La Crosse School District officials say last week the district recorded its highest level of COVID-19 close contact cases to date. The majority of them were in the high school. According to the most recent data, there are 48 new close contacts district-wide, 7 active cases of COVID-19, and 1 classroom closure. India is facing a devastating surge in COVID-19 cases, and its healthcare system is on the verge of collapse. For the 5th day in a row, it set another record for daily infections with more than 350,000 cases. In addition, the country reported more than 2,800 deaths, with roughly 117 people dying every hour. And experts say even those figures are likely an undercount. The new infections brought India's total to more than 17.3 million, behind only the United States. Doctors on the front lines are trying to keep their patients alive, but critical supplies like oxygen are running out.
We are running out of oxygen. The whole country is running out of oxygen, okay?
At times we feel like crying because we are not able to help patients properly. Every day this is the same scenario.
Crematoriums are overwhelmed, forcing the country to put up makeshift facilities that are undertaking mass burials and cremations. The Biden administration says it's sending raw materials needed to ramp up India's vaccine production, along with other medical supplies. The administration also announced today it plans on providing other nations with tens of millions of AstraZeneca doses once they clear FDA review. President Biden marks 100 days in office this week and will deliver his first address to a joint session of Congress Wednesday. A new CBS News poll shows most Americans approve of the way President Biden is handling the country's top priorities, with especially high marks on the coronavirus response and vaccine distribution. He promised 100 million vaccines administered in his first 100 days in office and delivered 200 million. The president is also receiving high grades on his $2 trillion infrastructure proposal, but the survey showed a partisan divide. But his handling of immigration is on the lower end, under 50%. Vice President Harris met virtually with the president of Guatemala to discuss the root causes of the rising number of migrants, many of them unaccompanied minors at the southern border.
The United States plans to increase relief to the region, strengthen our cooperation to manage migration in an effective, secure, and humane manner.
Overall, Biden's approval rating sits around 58%. That is higher than it was for former President Donald Trump during the same time frame, but lower than it was for former President Barack Obama. Wisconsin's population grew 3.6% over the past decade, falling short of the state's 6% growth rate between 2000 to 2010. Based on the latest census, the state will continue to have 8 representatives in the U.S. House. Across the U.S., 7 House seats will move, the lowest number of seats changing in 100 years. Minnesota's population is up 7.6% over the past decade. It will also maintain its 8 representatives. Work on the La Crosse Center is nearing completion. Plus later, why the Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration are answering an emergency call for help at the southern border. Renovations on the La Crosse Center are nearly complete. Today, the center's board announced 85% of the work is already done and is still right on schedule. That includes the entrance hall, north hall, and office area. Breaking that down to the total dollar amount out of the $42 million budget, there is only $6 million in construction to finish. Meeting rooms and the ballroom are still undergoing renovations. The project is on track to finish up in November. Officials and union representatives in Wisconsin are calling attention to legislation that would make forming labor unions in our state easier. The Protect the Right to Organize Act was passed in the House and now stands before the U.S. Senate with strong support from President Biden. In our state, the act would reverse the actions of former Governor Scott Walker for private sector workers. In addition, it would raise income, benefits, health care, paid leave, retirement, and have a big impact on minority workers throughout the nation. Union representatives are calling the bill one of the most transformative pieces of legislation to pass the U.S. House of Representatives in decades.
The evidence is overwhelming that if you want to create greater economic equality, since we have lost ground the last half century, and most of the benefits our society have gone to the billionaire class, and very little has gone, unlike the post-World War II period, to average working people, this would change that dramatically.
U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin is a co-sponsor of the bill, but labor groups say Republican Senator Ron Johnson has refused to meet with them or consider the bill. Today, the Biden administration signed an executive order to create a task force on worker organizing and empowerment geared toward helping workers join labor unions and bargain collectively. A lot of kids got stuck sitting at home last summer, but that won't be the case this year. Some of the activities you can sign your kiddos up for right after this.
And I'm meteorologist Bill Grahl. The region could still use some rainfall, and we do have some in the forecast for tomorrow and tomorrow night. I'll have the details of my 8-day forecast after the break.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now, our community, your station.
The CDC is updating its guidance for summer camps. Under the new recommendations, camps can open as long as multiple prevention strategies are in place. That includes the use of masks, physical distancing of 3 feet between campers and of 6 feet between campers and staff. The guidelines say camp activities should be held outside when possible. The CDC is also encouraging everyone eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine to get it. Summer camps are set to resume in our area. Time is running out to sign up for the La Crosse Area Family YMCA's No Boundaries Camp. The all-inclusive camp will be held for the first time this June and includes activities like sports and fitness to daily living skills. A pre-screening form is available now through May 7th. We do have a link to information on our website, news8000.com. And applications are also being accepted for the WisCorps nature-related camps. They start June 7th and continue each week through mid-August. All programming takes place in and around the Myrick Park Nature Center. The camps will have a reduced operating capacity for social distancing, and all campers and staff will be required to wear masks. As many as 34 million kids in the U.S. will continue to have access to meals during the summer months. The Department of Agriculture will continue its program that replaced school meals. For students learning virtually, families of eligible children would receive nearly $7 per child for each weekday. Children qualify for the new summer benefit if they are eligible to receive free or reduced price meals during the regular school year. Let's go ahead now and take a break and check in again with meteorologist Bill Grahl. And as you mentioned earlier, Bill, it kind of depended where you lived, your temperature today.
Yeah, big time. We were seeing 40, 50, even 60-degree temperature swings from the UP of Michigan down into southern sections of Iowa today. So that front that sits just to our south meant business in terms of a lot cooler to the north of it and warmer to the south. All right, before we get to the weather forecast, allergy alert first of all for tomorrow and Wednesday. Low symptoms both days for oak, high to medium for birch, and high symptoms both days for tree pollen. Now if we get some rain, that tends to knock some of that pollen out of the air and would lower those symptoms. Hey, did you see some cool cloud formations today? With that front sitting just to our south, we had a lot of ripples in the atmosphere. The wind's blowing from the south, south of the front, blowing from the east, north of the front. You tend to get some ups and downs, some ripples in the air where the air is rising and falling, and that tends to cause some of these linear formations. So it almost looked like the cloud cover was trying to look like a sunshine here with the rays coming out from the bottom of the screen there. Thanks to Jim for this photo taken out at Fox Hollow Golf Course in Berry Mills earlier this evening. All right, skies are currently mostly cloudy. I saw a little bit of that full moon trying to shine through earlier this evening, but plenty of clouds as well. 64 and 41. We're pretty much right on track. 64 and 42 are the averages. No rain or snow. Sunrise time tomorrow just after 6 o'clock. 56 degrees. There's some clouds over downtown. Either the airport was clear for a moment or it's just not seeing the cloud cover out there. Winds are calm, pressure rising, and the Mississippi falling 7.15 feet. So we've got plenty of clouds. Any rain today, though, was well to the north, even north of Eau Claire. That has shifted east, and there was even some snow this morning over far northern Wisconsin. Here's the front. Again, a lot cooler to the north of it and very warm, especially when we had some sunshine earlier down to the south of that front. And these little areas of low pressure kind of riding along that front, trying to increase the chances for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. And look at these temperatures still, even at this 10 o'clock hour. It's freezing in Marquette, 56 here, 74 in Des Moines, and 76 in Kansas City. A closer look shows mid-40s to the north, mid-50s here in La Crosse, and still 61 in Prairie du Chien. So again, a lot cooler to the north. Winds generally from the east-northeast at around 5 to 10. So tonight, just a small chance for a few showers, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder along that front. Tomorrow afternoon and evening comes better chances for some scattered showers and storms. Those will continue into tomorrow night, even lingering showers into our Wednesday as well. And the Storm Prediction Center even has a level 1 out of 5 risk here, so a small chance for an isolated strong to severe storm later tomorrow and tomorrow night. The main threat would be hail, but I'm not overly concerned with that threat, but we'll keep an eye on it for you. Lows tonight, upper 30s to low 40s across the north, low to mid 50s here in La Crosse, and then mid to upper 50s to around 60 down around Prairie du Chien. So again, location key tonight and tomorrow for that matter. Just a small chance of shower or storm tonight, 53 in La Crosse, 69 tomorrow. Prairie du Chien, you could be close to 80 tomorrow. Eau Claire, you'll be in the lower 60s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, most widespread in the afternoon and into tomorrow night. Still some lingering showers Wednesday and Thursday, highs closer to 60 through Friday, back into the upper 60s to low 70s for the weekend and into the start of next week. Some slight chances for rain Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So overall, pretty spring-like forecast over the next 8 days.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, thanks, Bill. Okay. Coming up next in sports, Wisconsin high school girls soccer is back on the field, while Onalaska is in good shape to succeed early. And we hear from the Packers GM on their future plans for Aaron Rodgers and this week's draft.
News 8 Now Sports is brought to you from the Brennigan Auto Group Sports Desk. Here's News 8 Now's Ken Kozorowski with sports.
We come into the week on History Watch. Brewers pitcher Corbin Burnes is 12 strikeouts away from the MLB record for most strikeouts before issuing a walk to open the season. He's sitting at 40, trailing the Dodgers' Kenley Jansen feat of 51 several years ago. Burnes attacking early against the Marlins. He finishes with 9 strikeouts on the day, so he's 3 away. But the Brewers couldn't catch a break offensively. 3 inning-ending double plays in those first 3 frames, and then rare trouble for Burnes. In the 6th, Garrett Cooper hammers one off him off the wall. In fact, Burnes ends up with 4 earned runs, and it's a rough night for the Brewers. They end up falling 8-zip. Over to the AL Central, Twins visiting Cleveland. Brent Rooker in the 2nd, in a slump, but gets a hold of this pitch out to the seats. And how about the leaping grab by the fan out in the stands? Give him a gold glove. Now, Jose Barrios looking to hold the lead in the 6th, but Franmil Reyes bloops one into right. The former Twin Eddie Rosario coming in home, slides in safely to tie the game. Twins had the lead back in the 8th, but Jose Ramirez with a frozen rope, tucking it in fair for the game-tying shots. And in extras, Alex Colomé continues his rough start. A no-doubter walk-off given up. Twins fall to 7-14. They're now 0-5 in extra inning games. The 2021 NFL Draft is this Thursday, and what will be the 4th draft for the Packers, with Brian Gutekunst leading the front office. In his first pre-draft media availability today, Gutekunst was actually asked more about his quarterback situation than the draft. The team did not alter Aaron Rodgers' deal in any way during the dash to get under the reduced salary cap this year. Rodgers is still under contract after this year for the next 2 years, but 2020 first-rounder Jordan Love is waiting. However, Gutekunst may have ended any speculation about showing Rodgers the door early.
Aaron's our guy. He's going to be our quarterback for the foreseeable future. We're excited about, kind of the things we're going to try to accomplish here over the next couple of years. So we certainly think that, with the contract that you're kind of talking about, is something we'll work through. We're going to have to do probably a few things with different contracts as we head towards the season and through the season to make sure that our salary cap situation, not only this year, but in 2022 is square.
Now, as for Thursday, the Packers sit at 29th overall. Since his first season as GM, Gutekunst has traded up in the first round every year. Gutekunst says he likes where this team is at, having been so close to Super Bowl appearances the last 2 years. So, making deals again in the first round might be a reality.
When you're sitting at 29 and watching those kind of players come off the board that that you've spent so much time studying and kind of thinking about how they could affect your football team, it's always tempting. And if it makes sense, we certainly won't be afraid to do that.
The Packers will have 10 total picks in this year's draft. It's a long-awaited week for Wisconsin high school girls soccer, today bringing the first official day of practice. Many soccer teams in our area find themselves looking for leadership after losing classes to the pandemic. But Onalaska Soccer feels ahead of the game. The team is returning 8 seniors, all who have played varsity at some level. Those 8 players were part of the 2019 team that lost 2-1 in the sectional final at Marshfield. If they want to make it back to sectionals, that senior class is going to have to lead the younger generation in a condensed schedule.
They're going to kind of give us the expectations and show the ladies what we expect as a coaching staff, how to handle themselves, and really kind of continue to show what we expect in this program.
We have a lot of new players coming in, a lot of sophomores that we didn't get to meet last year. And so we're impressed with all of the talent that we've seen so far, and we're excited for this season.
Their season starts May 4th against Logan. Big move in D3 softball. St. Mary's is bringing back alum John Cheetah to coach the softball program. Cheetah led the Cards from 95 to 2000 and won a national title his last year before taking the job at St. Thomas. Cheetah has led the Tommies the past 2 decades to 7 national title appearances with 2 championships. Former Badger and Hobie Baker winner Cole Caulfield making his NHL debut tonight for the Canadiens. His rookie lap sans helmet. Teammates apparently hid his helmet as a prank. 4 shots on goal for him tonight. His guys beat the Flames 2-1. And in the NBA, the Timberwolves hang on against the Jazz 105-104. We'll be right back.
A group of Franciscan sisters is answering an emergency call for help at the southern border. Amy DuPont spoke with the sisters as they left for an Arizona center for migrant families. She has a story you'll see only on News 8 Now.
Of all the bags that pass through the La Crosse airport, few are packed for a journey of faith.
For any of us sisters, it's just a response and a call to a great extent, and something that you feel in your heart for folks.
Franciscan sisters Teresa, Kristen, and Rose, and FSPA Justice and Peace promoter Pat Ruda are headed to Arizona, answering an emergency call from Catholic Charities to help care for the growing number of families and children seeking asylum at the southern border.
The treatment of children at the border, or even the treatment of our immigrant brothers and sisters, this is nonpartisan.
The La Crosse team will help provide medical care, distribute clothing and meals, and offer prayer.
Anytime people are suffering, I would hope that we as a community would be attentive to that.
Communities of Catholic sisters nationwide are calling on Congress to enact comprehensive immigration reform. These women believe action starts with them.
See the dignity of the person, and to respect the dignity of the person is always essential, and so that definitely is the part there.
Part of their journey to learn more about the situation and provide care and comfort.
There's definitely a need.
To families and children on a journey of their own. In La Crosse, Amy DuPont, News 8 Now.
The FSPA team will also spend some time at the center in Mexico. They will return to La Crosse May 9th. Stay with us. We're back to wrap things up right after this.
Small chance for a shower tonight, lows around 53.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night.